a playlist original.
Hey, what's up? It's your host, Tori, and who is ready to be petty? Welcome back to another episode of RTBP. I'm so glad you're here, and happy Sunday. I'm usually recording this midweek, but your girl procrastinated, so happy Sunday. It is a lazy Sunday for me. I am eating cold pizza. I have my house coat on, or robe. I feel like house coat is so like dowdy, like I have to call it robe. I don't know why I think I should try to make it sexy. It's a house coat. But I have my Olaplex hair mask in. I just turned on my diffuser. So minus the cold pizza, I'm living my TikTok clean girl aesthetic. But I want to set you up for a very, very fun episode today with Chelsea and Donnie from I Am the Cute One. We had such a good time, lots of laughs. You'll definitely hear that in this episode. Before we get to it, let's talk about what's going on Patreon. This week's episode is Kardashian Pets. Where are they now? With Emily Rose from It's Become a Whole Thing, who recently did a little bit of a rebrand of her podcast. She is doing a rewatch podcast, and she's covered so far Pretty Wild, Jersey Shore, and A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila, which is really the trifecta of 2000s television. So I've been like eating those episodes up. But we have this weird fascination with all the Kardashian pets. And I said this to the patrons earlier this week, but it has been so fun researching this. Like, it's actually so fucking funny. Like, I'll be reading an article and it'll just be like, Bella, Chihuahua, fate unknown. I'm like, if you don't think of like the dark side, I don't know. It's just such a funny piece of journalism. And I love that part of my job is going on celebritypets.com and just putting in hours. I said this, I feel like years ago when I was doing a lot of solo episodes, but it's like, I wish I studied for university like I studied for this goddamn podcast, because if you quizzed me right now on the Kardashian pets, I could name all of their names, when they were born, their fates, their claim to fame, and when they were last seen on social media. But if you asked me any psychology theory, you might be SOL. The next week, I have Leah Russo from the Ashley and Jessica cast on, and we are talking about actresses and reality TV stars who tried to foray into music but epically failed. And we're going to talk about why we think their careers didn't take off, like their music careers didn't take off, you know, if they tried again, what the music was like, who worked with them, all of that fun stuff. So I can't wait for that episode. If you want to hear the Kardashian Pets episode, or Leah and I talk about Leighton Meester and GoPro starships, Good Girls Gone Bad for like, I'm hoping a very long time, you can join us over at Patreon at patreon.com/RTBP podcast. And I'd like to shout out Megan S. Thank you so much for being a patron the last couple months. I appreciate your support. And from the bottom of my heart, mil gracias. And Molly, who is part of our Ready to Be Pricey tier. So she joins us once a month for This Month in Petty, where we talk a bunch of shit. And actually last week, it was just Molly and I that showed up, and she's like, can I ask you a few questions? I'm like, girl, lay it on me. So Molly, thank you so much for being a part of the community. I love when you share pictures of your dogs to our Discord. I love that you update us about your life, and I feel like you're adding so much to our book club. So thank you so much for being a patron of our TBP. Okay, friends, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Here's my conversation with Chelsea and Donnie. I'm back with two very special guests, Chelsea and Donnie from I Am the Cute One, a nostalgia podcast. Chelsea and Donnie, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to chat with you both.
Me too. I have a lot to get off my chest, apparently.
I was so excited when you invited us on because I feel like pettiness is my first language. It's my maiden tongue. So I am just ready to be here. I feel like I've been training for this.
Yeah, we say it on our show all the time, but shit talking is our love language. So like when we have nothing bad to say about you, it's still going to be shit talking. So when I do when I do have a few negative things to say, it's even better.
Yeah, that's so funny. I saw like a viral TikTok that's going around that's like how to stop someone like when they approach you with gossip, and I'm like, who's doing that?
Yeah, how do I request more of it? Actually,
yeah, exactly. Like if you want to shit talk, I'm there. But yeah, it's going viral for I don't know all the wrong reasons. So can you tell the listeners a little bit about the podcast that you both host?
Sure. Yeah. So it originally started as a Mary Kate and Ashley podcast. And then we were like, well, there's not really much to say about Mary Kate and Ashley's mystery series. So where do we go from here?
Well, because not only were we not covering Mary Kate and Ashley's like movies, there was no Passport to Paris. It was like they're Your Invited series from when they were 9 years old. And it doesn't help that there are like actually a lot of Mary Kate and Ashley podcasts where like the hosts know their shit. They like know all the ins and outs. It's like a true crime documentary. And Donnie and I literally could not tell the twins apart. So we're like, you know what? Maybe this isn't our journey.
Yeah. You know, we were like, the one in the pink shirt this week did this. So we we took our little detective coats off and we started covering movies from the late 90s and early 2000s instead. And when I say covering movies from those times, like we do watch them and talk about watching them, but really we just talk about ourselves and what we were doing in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Favorite topic.
Yeah, everyone's favorite topic. I love that. Yeah, because everyone who grew up in the 90s and early 2000s knows that I am the cute one, like lower, I guess, or I don't know, infamy. I don't know. So that's amazing. What is with I think like of course like COVID had a big like part to play in this, but like nostalgia just has such a like chokehold on everybody. Like what do you think drives people to seek out like old favorite movies?
I think, like you said, I think COVID is a big part of it because it's just like a comfort there where you don't need to worry about making new products or making new material because people already have this attachment to it. But I also think nostalgia was always important to like every generation. Like I grew up watching Scooby-Doo and like the Jetsons and all these things that my parents watched as kids and like young adults, and then they forced me to watch it, and then there were little reboots in the 80s or whatever from things from the 60s. But I think the bigger the internet gets, the easier it is to mass produce these things. So like now that the internet's obviously the biggest it's ever been, it's easier to do nostalgia from we were kids because there is people like doing it on TikTok or streaming services. A show doesn't need to be good anymore to last because there's like 75 channels now.
Yeah, and I do think it's true that every generation has like a really strong connection to where they came from, because I even noticed like the weird generational gatekeeping that takes place on Instagram. And here I go being petty right off the top.
Give it to us. Yeah.
Like the thing I will never understand, and it does really make me laugh, is like I'll post like a tweet. Like recently a tweet of mine got posted by like a bigger account that was, I just said like, I love millennial weddings because we start out with like a super heartfelt, meaningful ceremony, and the night ends by us all yelling, "Ah, skeet, skeet" in front of grandma. Like, and I just thought that was like a silly, funny tweet, perhaps based on a true story or two. And like the whole comment section was Gen Xers being like, "We grinded to that song first. We did it first. You don't ever have anything original." I'm like, cool. You were cringy before we were cringy. Yeah. Got it. Love that journey.
Yeah, that's so true about the generational gatekeeping. Like, even just with fashion trends, it's so funny because it's like, Yeah, we thought straight-legged jeans were out of style, just like how you think skinny jeans are out of style, and then it'll swap soon.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was a TikTok or it's probably a TikTok. I was going to say I read an article, but let's be real. I saw a TikTok that said if you were around when something was in style the first time, that you should not wear it when it comes back. Like, you already had your chance. Now you're too old for it. But I don't give a fuck. If triple popped collars come back with puka shell necklaces, I'll be wearing them in a New York minute. And that's a Mary Kate and Ashley plug.
Yeah. I knew you were going to mention those fucking puka shells.
I still have them. Yeah. I bought them for a costume party once. And then they just never disappeared. They're still there.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my God. And like, I even remember when there was like the ones that were like kind of jagged, and then the smooth ones came in, and then you're like, I have to have the smooth ones. Like, I can't be caught dead wearing the jagged ones. Like, what? Like, it's so, I don't know, so weird. But yeah, I'll be right there with you.
Please.
What has been your favorite like movie to cover, or like has there been something that's like been surprising that you've really like enjoyed?
Good.
Well, I literally grew up under a rock. I don't know what happened to me, because like I was in a TV family, and for some reason, probably my like raging ADHD, I just never watched any movies growing up. So I am watching a lot of these movies for the very first time. And so it's always funny when I catch one for the first time that like everyone is obsessed with, and it is because of the nostalgia factor. And then coming in with fresh eyes in 2023, the one that comes to mind, and I know this is the reverse of the question you asked, but the worst movie we've covered is Never Been Kissed.
Oh,
like
my
that
gosh.
was the first time I had seen that movie, and that teacher needs to be in jail. Like there is an entire, like every plot has to do with like hooking up with an underage person. The brother in that movie, like his whole like redemption arc is that he really wanted to sleep with the 16-year-old, but had the courage not to. Like, it is wild how that movie aged like Blockbuster.
Yeah, that's such a good point. What about you, Donnie?
I'm the opposite, and like 99% of the movies we cover are my choice because I love them so much, and I'm like, okay, Chelsea, it's time for you to watch this. And then that 1% of movies that I haven't seen are movies that Chelsea grew up with, and then I quickly find out there's a reason I've never seen them. Like, like Almost Famous, I know it's a fan favorite, but I fucking hated it. And
don't you love that she asked us our favorite movie and we both immediately started talking shit?
I think it's the atmosphere. We feel welcome here. However,
it's so funny.
Also, like, it's so easy to talk about movies that you love. Like, Mean Girls is fun. Teaching Mrs. Tingle, that old classic.
Of course, a classic.
But, yeah.
I will say I saw Romy and Michelle for the first time, and that's like probably my favorite movie of all time.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's a classic. Yeah, I feel like that's a classic. Yeah, but I get that though. You're like, why did I love this as a kid? Like this is so bad.
Yeah. And on our Patreon, we started covering Glee, and I'm really enjoying rewatching that. I thought I'd never have an excuse to rewatch that in my entire life. And now that I do, it's like when my sister's 12 years younger than me. So when I was like 16, she was 4. So I was like, oh yeah, guys, I'm going to the Miley Cyrus concert because of her. I have to take my little sister.
But you were loving it.
So now I just
then you like put on your blonde wig.
So now I use the Patreon as that excuse. I have to watch Glee again, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And Glee is having such a renaissance era.
It is, yeah. All it took was Leah and Michelle to threaten to shit in wigs, and
God.
Here we are. Yeah, it's the first time I'm watching Glee, and I feel like Donnie is Jigsaw, the man from Saw, and I am like 3 episodes away from like sawing my own leg off.
Yeah, I get that. I've never rewatched that show, but I feel like I kind of am on TikTok, and it's like I blacked out half the storylines in my brain. Like I just Yeah. Can't believe that was a show I used to like. Literally, it was like appointment TV on Wednesday nights.
Yeah. In your defense, though, there's very little plot. So you're not really forgetting much.
Yeah, that's true. There is like 10 characters. They just rotate through the same kind of storylines. So that's fair. Okay, let's get into today's episode. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl halftime show, Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox's like alleged breakup, Kendall Jenner's Photoshop fail, and then we're going to have Johnny share or nominate a Pettyweight Champion of the Week and Chelsea share her This Week in Petty. So let's get into it. The Super Bowl halftime show. You were both on pins and needles waiting for this, right?
I truly was. And,
yeah.
like, we've been waiting 6 years for this. So I feel like no matter what, she could have been shot out of a cannon, gave birth to the baby, caught it, and then they both did a choreographed dance. And like people would still find something wrong with it just because we've waited so long from Rihanna. So nothing she delivered, I think, would have like pleased everyone. I think the Super Bowl halftime show is so iconic. Like not hers, just in general. I think Super Bowl halftime performances are so iconic. Like Diana Ross was escorted out in a helicopter, and that was the early 90s. So like it only gets crazier from there. So I know that those platforms were like a big deal, but I did want more.
Interesting. What about you, Chelsea?
So first of all, Donnie said that the baby and Rihanna doing a choreographed dance, and all I can imagine is that little dancing
Ally
baby from
McBeal.
Nine. Imagine.
That's what I thought of.
Get it rude, boy. No, I was so excited because, and I've told this story over on our show, but I danced so hard to Rude Boy on my 21st birthday that the back of my dress, the button snapped and I flashed an entire bar. So like Rihanna is a core part of me. She made me the woman I am today. I liked it, and I think I had the opposite of I've been waiting so long that she literally could have gotten up there and like laid down, and I would have been like, bravo, I've never anyone napped like that. Amazing.
Yeah.
I also, the pregnant side of it, I have been pregnant 2 times. I go full Oompa Loompa when I'm pregnant. I have strangers touching my belly and saying like any day now when I'm like 4 fucking months pregnant, like I could barely get out of bed when I was pregnant without like the assistance of several adults on staff. Not really my husband just pushing me out of bed. But so like I can't fathom the fact that she did a whole set pregnant, like regardless. So for me, like I know there's criticism of like if she couldn't have done everything, she shouldn't have done it. But for me, I'm like, this is actually America that she's working pregnant doing her thing.
That's,
you know?
I didn't even think of that. That's such a good point. Yeah, I definitely thought that it was very Rihanna. And like, I also agree with Johnny that it's like I gravitate to performances like Katy Perry riding in on the like Lady Gaga jumping down from the side, like the and doing like 500 costume changes.
Right.
Like, those are the ones that I'm like, oh my God, like this is amazing. But I think it was because we had waited for so long for anything from Rihanna in the music space. And then the pregnancy announcement, it was so good. It was mesmerizing. I really enjoyed it.
If I had one note for her, I would have suggested like a belly graze with the hands.
It started
to, like,
with
fully
one, but it was very
confirm.
quick.
It
Like
was
it almost
so
looked
quick.
like she had a fly on her stomach. She had to brush it off before she began. Because I rewatched it again today, and there is a very quick one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It should have been a little more poignant because like we as a society have gotten to the point where it's like unless a woman is crowning, we're not to say
saying
shit
anything.
to her. So
Yeah.
like it was just so funny to see Twitter in real time being like tiptoeing around of like, this is great, but is anyone seeing what I'm seeing? No judgment, just saying. But I also think, and this is a side note, her teasing, because of course then like we put all the puzzle pieces together and her being like, there's going to be a special guest joining me. That to me is like the same energy as that guy at your office who's like, see you next year before you both leave for Christmas. Like big like dad joke energy.
Totally.
Like, okay, I get it, but like, maybe don't tease a big guest. I understand it's special,
Yes.
a baby, but no.
Right, because we waited 6 years, now we are hyping up this big, like, I thought we were going to get, and Jay-Z would walk out, but nothing, just a fucking baby. And I will say, and this is just very personal, but my 2 favorite Rihanna songs are Birthday Cake and S&M, and she teased them. They were very little snippets and didn't go anywhere with it. Like, it was like, come every, no, that's Rude Boy. It was like, cake. And then I was like, okay. And it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping we did get Only Girl in the World, which was one of my favorite songs, but then You're the One is what I really wanted to hear, to be honest. But yeah, but that is a good point. I would have liked a Jay-Z feature for like Umbrella or something like that, but
T.I. would have been nice. Live your life.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or just Kanye.
I'm
just kidding.
It was so funny though, because we were all joking. I was at like a Super Bowl party and everyone was joking like, is like someone gonna like pull off like the toque or the hood or whatever that they were wearing and like reveal themselves as being like some type of feature that we don't want to see, but thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah, my best friend was like, it's Eminem's definitely gonna be there, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, their song is about domestic abuse. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that being featured at the halftime show.
I mean, it would kind of be fitting for the end.
That's what we were saying, but
it is my favorite song in karaoke. However,
oh no,
they would.
Oh no.
But they would put a kibosh on that. Remember when they were trying to put a kibosh on the cages for Shakira and J-Lo's show? Like, they would have never had anything with like any type of like political message. No. I was really surprised that they let her say bitch better have my money.
I know. Started with it even.
Yeah. Oh, that was so good though. What did you think about the Fenty like product placement?
Because I was let down a little bit, I thought it was cheap and a waste of my time. I was like, this time that she's putting on her makeup and handing it to a backup dancer could have been Jay-Z's entrance. One more time for those of you who missed it. Like, it's just 3 seconds. That's all we needed.
I can't figure out what you sound like. It's like a cartoon character or something.
No,
It'll come to me.
Jay-Z. That's the answer you're like.
I'm going to text you tonight and I'll be like, it's this person.
Oh my God.
Everyone, like, every storyline is like, the Fenty searches went up like 800%.
Oh my
and stuff
God.
like that. Yeah, which is like,
I
guess it worked. Like, I don't know what that like translates into sales, but like, I guess everyone was looking up what that product was. But I will say one of my colleagues was wearing the Fenty, like it was like a shimmery highlighter the other day, and like that sold me more than this. It looked really, really good. So, but I'm excited for more. Well, we got the Vogue photo shoot, but I'm excited for more Rihanna pregnant content.
The Vogue photo shoot is iconic.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I feel like I need to spend more time looking at it, but yeah, it's really beautiful. MGK and Megan Fox, were you both rooting for this couple?
Yeah, my favorite celebrity couple, actually. No, just kidding. Imagine.
Yeah. You couldn't tell by the spit tape.
I was not. No, I wasn't. I love Megan Fox. Like, she truly is top tier. When she was filming Ninja Turtles in Times Square, I ran. I didn't even ask permission. I ran out of my job and went to where they were filming. I was like, Megan, like crying behind a barricade as she was standing under an umbrella from the sun. And then I went back to work and my boss was like, where were you? I was like, Megan Fox is out. And then they understood I didn't get in trouble. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I love Megan Fox, hands down. I was introduced to him because of Megan Fox. Like, once he came into her life, he came into my life, like a stepchild. But then, then I did hear a couple of his songs, and I was like, oh, I don't hate his music. I just don't need them together. They're very Angelina Jolie and what's his face? Yeah,
Billy Bob.
like
Billy
drinking
Bob
blood
Thornton.
and stuff. I didn't need that.
I love, so I'm always like weirdly sad when celebrity couples break up just because like I'm like, "Aw, that sucks." But I will say they always gave me like the same energy as like the most popular couple in high
Oh my
school.
God, yes.
So it doesn't surprise me that this is the way they're handling this supposed breakup because they're acting exactly like the most popular couple in high school. Like we're all supposed to stop our lives and watch the show because like they're in turmoil.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really good point because we don't even know if they're broken up, but there is just some like hints. So Sunday morning, and I was literally recording a podcast, and the person I was recording with goes, "Just wait, stop," and we're like, recording, and she's like, Megan deleted all of the photos of MGK
Again, like the
Yeah.
most popular
on
kid
her
in high
Instagram,
school.
and people obviously went wild. She posted Lemonade lyrics on a carousel of photos. You can taste the dishonesty. It's all over your breath. And then fans were commenting maybe because like I obviously is alleging cheating. Fans wrote maybe MGK hooked up with Sophie, who is MGK's guitarist, and Megan responded, maybe I hooked up with Sophie, which is like so funny. But I didn't know
So funny.
that. I don't know that there was like rumors like this. And then she unfollowed everybody but followed Eminem, who is the aforementioned Eminem, MGK's nemesis, Timothy Chalamet, and Harry Styles. And then she just deleted her
Classic.
whole profile.
I mean, I've always loved her. I love Jennifer's body. Like I do really love her. And this makes me love her more because this is some like crazy bitch behavior and game recognized game because I have done the same thing, not following Eminem specifically, but you know, I love that she like literally posted the 2023 equivalent of like an AIM away message. She literally found a way to post song lyrics.
Yes,
Like, I love it.
Yeah. No.
I just have like, it is a very millennial thing just to have like an innate urge to post song lyrics every once in a while.
I miss it so much. I used to have a crush on my college roommate, and I would write passive aggressive things about him, and then like he would just turn his back because our backs were to each other at our computers. He was like, "What's this about?" I was like, "Don't worry." It was my away message was just like, "It must be nice." ... As I have the Notebook playing on the only TV in the room. Like, don't worry about.
He looks over and there's just like mascara streaks down your cheeks as you're staring at him.
That's so funny.
I will say I do wish she had chosen different Lemonade lyrics because like you can taste the dishonesty, it's all over your breath. I don't really want to imagine Machine Gun Kelly's breath.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to think about what
His
that
oral
is
hygiene, neither do I. Like,
no.
Yeah, what's
At
that
all.
lyric about $1 billion in the elevator? She should have posted that.
yeah, something else that makes more sense.
I love that she wasn't following anyone before. Like her and Beyonce had 0
Right.
people they followed. And then she decided, no, I'm going to follow 3 people. And they're going to be Harry Styles, Timothy Chalamet, and Eminem.
So, okay, so Eminem is MGK's nemesis.
Right.
Timothy Chalamet and Harry Styles just other skinny white boys. Like, I don't.
I
what's
guess.
the
Maybe she's like, I
connection?
have a type. I'm moving
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Like disheveled skinny white guys. Like,
I would love to hear the details of a Timothy Chalamet Machine Gun Kelly. Like I would want to know what would they fight about?
honestly,
you know?
honestly, or Megan sliding into his DMs.
Yeah.
Like, that's just so interesting to me.
It would just be a lot of blowing hair out of their own eyes, I think.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah. So Dumois, which, you know, take it for what it is, said it's just a fight. They aren't broken up. And then yesterday, February 15th, Megan was seen crying, leaving a marriage counseling office with MGK. So they're still like together, but we don't know about their relationship status.
Does he have an album coming out or something? Like I always want to put on my tinfoil hat when stuff like this goes down because I just feel like it's so perfectly orchestrated. Like it's so theatrical and it just seems like they've been getting consistent attention, but this is like now it's all anybody's talking about. And so I always am like, what is coming down the pipe? Like, what are we about to promote?
Yeah, that's such a good point, because even with Courtney and Travis Barker, I was thinking the same thing, because he posted like a picture with his dog and it was just like just the two of us, or like I don't know, like the two of us till the end or something like that, and everyone's like going wild that he broke up with Courtney, and they're obviously still together, but both of them like had such a heyday in 2022, but I don't know, it's been kind of quiet on the Western Front in 2023.
They haven't been touching tongues publicly in quite
in
some
a
time.
long time. Yeah, the four of them should go on a double date.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah. But you're right, though. They've kind of, with your relationship, when it's the primary thing that's like, you know, the focal point of interest for the public, you have to keep it spicy, I guess. Keep everyone hooked. Before we move on, I will say there are rumors that he is abusive, and like that's been kind of seen, like at least emotional and like some manipulation in some of their interviews together. And in one of the pictures of the carousel, she was standing in front of a domestic violence hotline organization poster. So I will say, if they're still together or if they're not, wishing her all the best. And I know we joke about it, but we truly do want what's best for her. So hope she's well.
God, that would put the whole like engagement ring thing in a whole new light. Because remember, like it was like full of thorns or something. So if she took it off, which she did in this potential breakup, she took off the ring, and I'm like, oh God, and it's gonna like cut you. So that, Jesus, sorry to bring it down, but like that just came to my mind, because it was like such a weird thing, but it was like they were doing more like blood oath type
like
of
punk
adjacent
stuff,
activity, but that would make it like super
super dark. So yeah, wishing her the best. I don't know too much about him, but always rooting for her.
Me too. You know I am. And for Jennifer's body too.
Yes. I feel like she's so down. So yeah, I would love to see that. Okay, let's move on to a lighter topic. Kendall Jenner, she posted a big carousel as well on Instagram, and one picture was her in a bikini. She was like squatting down and her hand looked huge. So everyone was like, okay, this is like a sign of Photoshop when you have like, you know, like not a distended, but like an extended hand or elbow or knee or whatever. So everyone was posting and commenting like, your hand. So I don't know. I just feel like the Kardashians, they do this all the time. So I'm like, is it purposeful at this point?
Yeah, it's very Boy Who Cried Wolf. Like at this point, I don't know I think what we see is what they want us to see. Because even if it is Photoshopped, we're all still talking about it.
Yeah. Oh my God. I know. Like me, like I was like, I'm putting this on the outline.
Yeah. And it was like, there was nothing about that photo. Like if I took that photo, and obviously I don't look like Kendall Jenner, but nothing about like the squatting or the angle would make me be like, ooh, this is grid worthy. Let me get it on the grid. Like she looked like the alien from Signs.
Yes.
Like she was like caught like on camera lurking in that alleyway. And it is at this point, I do think that they are such a well-oiled machine that I'm like, what are they covering up? Like, why do they want us talking about this Photoshopped hand? Like, what are we not paying attention to right now? Because Kris Jenner was like, quick, Kenny, post that photo we talked about.
I don't even know if it's that, though. I just think, like, on a slow news day, we're still talking about something. Like, and this is nothing about the Kardashians. I'm going to go on a tangent really quick. On Entertainment Weekly, last week, randomly, they posted an article about The View and said, like, Whoopi was sucking on a Tootsie Pop today. And I was like, why is this news?
Why is that making that news?
And then I looked, and like every single day they post about The View. So I guess that day they didn't like get in any political fights or like whatever. So they had to post about Whoopi sucking on a Tootsie Pop. So I think this is the Tootsie Pop equivalent. Like there are no big Kanye moments that day, or there are no big Courtney and Travis whatever fights that day. So let's
Tristan hasn't fucked anybody in like 72 hours.
so let's post Kendall's elongated hand.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, we just have to continue to talk about them. And people are starting to talk more about outrage bait, but like, it's these small little things that like in 2 weeks we probably won't remember the hand. But you're right, it keeps them relevant in the quick media cycle that we have nowadays.
Was it you that posted, like, someone posted a video from one of Kendall's friends? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So then yesterday, Hailey Bieber was on a live. I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram. And Kendall was with her. And she was like demonstrating how her hand looks long. And then so everyone's like, no, okay, you're right. Like, so it wasn't photoshopped. And then, of course, there's like a subset of the people that are like, no, they also photoshopped this video. like it's still fake. And like they're doubling down on like the controversy.
Someone needs to go to that house and get out the tape measure and like we really need to nail down the length of these hands. But if Kendall is listening, I know you're a big fan of this podcast, Kenny. Thank you for supporting her. But may I just suggest grabbing a Pepsi? It seems to solve everything. I think this problem could go away, you know?
Or we need one of those. Have you seen those TikTok people that like find people's heights or like the height of things? They can take the Pepsi image and find the height of her hand. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe I should watch that video, that commercial again. That actually seems like a good way to solve this controversy.
Honestly. You can solve racism and the mystery of Kendall's
photoshopped hand. Yeah, because I think that what people get frustrated about is they're just like, why do you have so many Photoshop fails when you Photoshop every single picture and you have like professional teams like working on it? So why, like, this should be happening to us plebs that are like face tuning ourselves on our little phones.
Right.
So I guess we'll never know. But again, they kept, like, I haven't talked about the Kardashians in like 2 weeks on this podcast, and they just,
found a way back in.
Yeah. They truly did. Okay, let's move on to Pettyweight Champion of the Week. So this is the part of the show where Donnie's going to nominate a Pettyweight Champion of the Week, someone in the media who did something petty and it was iconic. Who are you nominating this week?
I am nominating Shakira.
Yes. Oh my God. I really hope this is what I think it is.
I'm sure it is. On Valentine's Day, her and her ex-husband are separating, or they were either together. I don't know if they're married, but they're separating because she found out, this is just background information, but this is petty in itself. She came home and saw that her favorite jam in the refrigerator was half eaten, and she knows that her husband or the spouse, whatever, doesn't eat jam. So she knew he had another woman over and she was eating the jam. So they're separating. Now, on that's all.
He found himself in a jam.
You sure did.
So did I, yeah.
See you next year.
So on Valentine's Day, she posted a video of herself mopping on Instagram, and the music over it was Kill Bill by SZA, and the lyrics are, I might kill my ex. Not the best idea. His new girlfriend's next. How'd I get here? And that's it. That's the whole video. I think that is phenomenal. I have the chills talking about it. I'm giddy. I have a smile on my face like it's Christmas. Threatening to kill.
Threatening murder.
It's just brilliant.
Yeah, I completely agree. And she was like mopping, but like it was like a rug or something.
Yeah. She didn't even like bother to move the set around. Like, no fake blood on the floor, just truly a mop on a rug in her kitchen.
Yeah, the intention was good. Production value like could be worked on.
Yeah, she must go to the same post-production people the Kardashians go to.
Exactly.
I like to think that like an idea struck her and she was like, I know what to do. And she couldn't even be bothered to like run out and like get cleaning supplies. She's like, no, this will do. I need to post this immediately.
Yeah. She is really, I feel like, doubling down on the Gerard Piqué stuff, because I didn't know her as like a petty person prior to, I guess they were together for like over a decade, so she didn't like air his dirty laundry, but now she's just like going in. I love it.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so good.
All over Jam.
Yeah, all over Jam.
You know what? We should get her on the Kendall Jenner case, because clearly she talk about Olsen and Olsen mystery. Like, she knows how to solve one.
Yeah,
You're right.
Seriously, she clearly I don't know, do you think she set a trap? Like, do you think she put the jam in there and like, you know, you take a picture
yeah.
it's at this,
she drew with a Sharpie.
It's at this level, and like when I came back 2 weeks later it was lower, like yeah. Or do you think it was like happenstance that she like, I don't know. I hope that it was kind of like purposeful that she did this, set him up to fail.
It honestly would have been even equally as iconic if she just was like going about her business, making her like, you know, morning jam toast, and she like picked it up and she's like, wait a second, this feels lighter.
Yeah,
like she wasn't even intending to catch him, and she just knew in her heart, her spirit, her soul.
Yeah. I don't picture her or any celebrity being jam people. I don't know. Like, I
hope she gets a sponsorship.
A Super Bowl commercial would have been so great with her.
Oh my god, yes,
God.
that would have been so topical. yes, Smuckers or should have jumped on that.
Oh my god,
that would have been amazing.
Ask, believe, receive, and so it is. Please, universe.
Okay, let's wrap up with This Week in Petty. This is the part of the show where Chelsea is going to share a story about something that happened in her real life that she's petty about. What are you petty about this week?
Well, we were talking before we started recording, and I was like, well, I hope none of my real friends out there are listening to this podcast, because I'm about to subtweet them. Yes. But like I said, petty is really like my state of being, my baseline, my zodiac sign. And I've decided I'm going to start being petty when it comes to communication, because I just feel petty about people who are like energy vampires. And I have gotten to the point that like, I just don't have time to play games in friendships. Like in friendships, I am chaotic. I understand. I'm working on my communication, because you can ask Donnie, I'm the type of person that like, I'll either text you 65 times in 3 minutes, or I just will casually ghost you for 3 days. Like, I'm
too relatable.
It's not a great But I also like, I'm a direct person, and you as my friend should always know like where you stand with me. If I have an issue, I come to you directly. So I have decided to stop acknowledging passive aggression, which ironically is like my family's go-to form of communication. But like, I'm just going to start taking everything and responding at face value. Like, I'm no longer going to read into anything. I'm literally going to respond like, what you sent me is what you meant. So like, if I post a picture of me and some of my friends, this is, you know, may or may not be based on a true story, but like, if I post a picture of me and some of my friends at a restaurant, and another friend who was not invited is like butthurt about it, like they weren't there, and they comment like, wow, that looks like fun, I'm no longer going to like spend my time and energy figuring out how to like respond and fix their feelings that they really like. If you have an issue, come to me. I'm going to start being like, yeah, it was a great time. The appetizer is delish. Yeah. So that is my my new petty thing that I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm actually obsessed with that, because like I get that though, because I feel like I take on that person's like issue that they have, and then I'm the one that's like burdened with something that, I don't know, that you don't have to have. So I love that.
Yeah, because I mean, if you have an issue, come to me directly, and I'll most of the time apologize and like acknowledge I'm the one in the wrong if I am, but like, don't act like just don't be passive aggressive about it. Just tell me what you're thinking. Yeah.
So you think that someone was like upset that they weren't invited or something, and then they said something like, so much fun, girlies. Yeah. Like, wish I was there. This is a friend I've had.
Yeah, this is a friend I've had for like 15 years. So I'm like very well versed in her.
Right.
in her passive
Right.
aggression. And I'm just going to start being like, yeah, loved it. You should really have the margs the next time you go. They were delicious, divine.
Yeah.
It won't be with us, but next time you go, yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it when you go. That's so funny. Yeah, I get that. I feel like that's me also at work though too. Is like I feel like lately, because I've also been trying to like protect my peace, which I know is like I want to kill myself saying that out loud, but like that's so, I feel like that's very like LA or something like that, and I live very far away from LA, but it's like I get that, and that I feel like that happens so much at work, and I feel like even just this week, instead of shouldering some of that stuff, I'll just reply to it or ask a question about like in a reply instead of, or just moving the conversation forward instead of then sitting and like, I don't know, feeling shitty for an hour.
Yeah, there's too much like actual terrible shit going on in the world to like add dealing with somebody else's bullshit onto your plate. Like, that's your bullshit. Leave it over there. I've got enough of my own going on. God knows.
Totally.
You know?
Totally. Yeah. And like also friends of 15 years, like you feel like they should have some comfort level with you to be like, hey, like what happened here? Like, or this made me upset or something like that. Yeah. I love that. Do you do that too, Johnny? Like take on people's, I don't know, feelings in passive aggressive ways, I guess.
I think I do, but I don't, because I don't know if this is good of me or bad. I feel like it's good for me, but bad because I feel like it is the cultural norm to take on that. Like you're supposed to react to passive aggressiveness like that. So then when I don't, I feel like I'm the one in the wrong. But at the same time, we are all adults here. And even if we weren't, like even as kids, you can still say, like, you stole my Barbie, bitch. Like you can still use your words. You don't need to be passive aggressive. So I think, yes, I sometimes fall into it, but I try not to. And when I don't, then I feel guilty about it, even though I'm protecting my peace.
I feel like you have really good boundaries though. Like that's something I've learned from you. And I feel like that's why, I mean, we, threaten, we pretend like we're going to kill each other and sometimes, get quite close every week on our podcast. But like, I think at the end of the day, what makes us work as friends and business partners is that we both are very direct. So like, if I tell you that I hate while you were sleeping, you will directly tell me, bitch, I might murder you during this recording. And I know where we stand.
She texted me when she watched while you were sleeping. She texted me and said, I hate this. And I said, well, I went to brunch today. I am drunk. If we record right now like we're supposed to, I will curse you out. And it might be the end of the podcast. So let's wait 2 hours till I sober up a little bit. And then I can hear the shit talk you have to say about Sandra Bullock. And then it was a great episode. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. And that movie, I have to say, like, again, Donnie's like, what are you going to say? But just like the concept in real life is insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. But Sandra Bullock can pull anything off. So that's why I
100%.
allow it. And the nostalgic ties. But if you say too many bad things about Sandra Bullock or that movie, I will post a video mopping with SZA lyrics.
You like change the words to co-host and just That's so funny. Okay, well, this is it's also a good reminder. Just I feel like also if you don't practice that all the time, you just can slip into your own ways of taking that on and stuff. Yeah
for sure.
But when I'm passive aggressive,
that's fine.
People better feel that.
Take on my shit. I'm just not taking on yours.
100%. Okay, this was so much fun. Can you tell the listeners where they can find you, your podcast, and anything else you want to plug?
Sure. Yeah. So you can follow me individually on TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram at Real Donnywood. And then you can listen to our podcast, I Am the Cute One, a nostalgia podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also follow the podcast on TikTok.
And then you can follow me on Instagram at Oh No Charles. Just follow me there. You'll know pretty quick if you want to unfollow or keep following. just, buckle up. I say mute my stories, and then like a bad pop song, I'll weasel my way into your heart and soul. And then did you plug our Patreon,
I
Dottie?
did not. Go for it.
So patreon.com/IamTheCute1 for all of our uncut, unedited, and unhinged versions of our shows. So it's in audio and video form. And we usually record for like an extra 30-ish minutes that it's all over on the Patreon. And there's a lot of shit that I edit out because it just has to be behind
and bonus
a paywall.
episodes there too. Our Glee recaps.
Oh, and bonus episodes. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. I love that. Thank you both so much for
my
coming
God,
on the show.
Thank you for having us. This was so fun.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to Chelsea and Donnie for joining me on today's episode. If you want to support the show, you can financially and like emotionally, let's be real, by joining patreon.com/RTBP podcast, where you get a bonus episode, access to our Discord, our book club, fun events, etc., etc. It's super, super fun. Or for free, for freezies, you can subscribe to the podcast, leave us a 5-star rating and review, share it with a friend, share it on your stories, share it however you'd like, shout it from the rooftops. I hope you are safe and healthy out there. As always, I'm your host, Tori, and I am ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.